first major in the Call of Duty League is underway, and the pros made their way all the way to Madrid, where the crowd showed up and showed out.
That close, but we got the flags out. We got the chance start. Shirts are going to be coming off.
For gentlemen, they play tomorrow. They don't even play today.
There was 4 matches on day 1, and this is the first time we're seeing Black Ops 6 on LAN, and there's at least 4 matches each day, so there's a lot of COD to be played, so let's get right into it. The first match of the day, we had Atlanta FaZe versus Boston Breach. Now, they had actually played each other a few weeks back in the online qualifiers, and FaZe 3-0'd them. FaZe had a slow start to the season, but have looked really scary going into the month of January, and they picked up right where they left off, Simp even welcoming us to LAN.
I'm trying. Cammy their side. Top right. Their side. Cammy their side. This guy's so fucking nice. Holy fuck, you guys. Yeah. I'm trying Kevin. Yeah, I'm just totally holy fuck, welcome to LAN, boys.
FaZe got off to an early lead, and they kept the lead the entire game. Simp and Jaza taking over in the first map, and Awakening and Purge were unable to keep up with the slaying power of FaZe. I kind of expected a slow start from Boston because it's the first LAN event, so you got to get some of those first LAN jitters out, but they just couldn't shake them through the rest of this map. FaZe dominating the first game, winning 250 to 128. Simp going 38 and 21 on this first map with 29 non-traded kills. Just a great start to the day, and they carried that into the second game on the same map, red card search and destroy. Now on paper, their records are pretty even in this game mode. FaZe is 8 and 6, Boston is 7 and 7, but this event is really showing the difference between online and LAN. Purge was really good in this online split, but in his first match on LAN, he had a really tough time finding his groove, but at the same time, it's really hard to do anything against FaZe, especially when they're doing things like this.
They give up the flank. He tries to hit it now, but look, Cell has turned, so he's got it picked up, gets damage into Purge, sees that's not open, time is dwindling. Simp with the multi, picking him apart. Nearly gets it done with the melee as well, but up damage through to finish it.
He had a great S&D with double digits on the scoreboard. Purge going 2 and 9 going into this final round, and he was unable to pick up a kill, going 2 and 10 to close out the game. Despite this, Breach kept the game pretty close with a chance to force around 11, but FaZe won an attacking round to secure the 2-0 lead. By the end of it, Abizi went 11 and 7 with 3 first bloods. To the side of Boston Breach, they were really struggling here, and it seems like FaZe might be their kryptonite. Purge was trying to make plays, but he was getting shut down nearly every round, and FaZe got off to a convincing 2-0 start. Now going into the protocol control, Celium has been insane in control this month with a 1.3 KD, and I feel like every time he's on protocol, he just does something jaw-dropping. FaZe is much better than Boston, especially on defensive rounds. They're 16 and 7 in defense. Boston is 7 and 7. On top of that, FaZe is on a 3-win streak, and once again, we've seen an absolute masterclass from Celium on this map mode combo, going on a double-digit streak in the first round.
Find more success in that category this time around.
Yeah, already minute off the clock. Nice little spawn trap there for FaZe, but you do get out. The timing, though, not to the Purge's way. So top 3 over to Celium. He's on 5 in a row. We just saw his stats.
Well, let's see if Breach can fare better offensively, or if they've just mentally been cut out of this one. I'm going to be really the only one out. Cell still playing passively here. He's got a streak to work with. He wants the double-digit streak. He's able to do that. He got a tick and a half thus far. Selling draws with the AR, though, cutting them down now.
Gemi was on the other side of that, going 2 and 10. And FaZe were living in their spawn, not only on the defensive rounds, but also on offense. By round 2, Celium was 16 and 1, and Boston couldn't get anything going. And in the first series in Madrid, it is a quick 3-0 DoorDash with the Tiny Terrors dismantling Boston Breach. Abizi with a 1.41 and Simp with a 1.3. Purge having a 0.61 in his first LAN series, and they'll have a chance to bounce back against Cloud9 on day 2 in losers bracket, but it was a strong start from FaZe. Simp saying GG's Boston 1-3-0. LAN feels good. We won 3-0. Great way to start the tourney. My team is gross. I'm pretty sure, including last year, Purge is averaging a 0.6 to 0.7 on LAN. People acting like Boston didn't lose 3-0 to the same team a week ago still feel like they can make a run as long as they don't run into FaZe at any point. In the second series of the day, it was Toronto Ultra versus Vancouver Surge, and Ultra has looked extremely good online, being one of the best teams in the game right now. For Vancouver, 5 out of their 7 games online went to a round 5, so I was kind of hoping for the same thing here, but that couldn't be farther from the truth, because going into this Skyline hardpoint, Toronto Ultra set the tone early. Next was off to a 10 and 1 start, and Joe Deceives was putting in work of his own.
Only 7 seconds on the hill, but maybe an entry here. Yeah, sure.
does. Him and Nasty working together. Clean out this sole Ultra member inside the hard point. Joe deceives up and down. Oh, just kind of tiptoeing on the side. Oh! Joe deceives for 3. 21.
Surge just unable to keep up with their slaying power for the first few hills, but they were unable to settle into this game, especially with the way the duo of CleanX and Joe were moving. They're a really solid SMG duo and have even been getting comparisons to Simp and Abizi, but how aggressive they play. Not only did CleanX have 35 kills in this game, he also had 2 minutes on the hill, but Hixie and 04 being on the opposite side of that. Hixie almost going double negative, having a rough respawn, and Ultra take the first map 250 to 146. The Hacienda Search and Destroy was much closer, and Ultra has been extremely solid in S&D, especially with players like Beans and Joe who were able to make plays for them, and that's exactly what they did in their first S&D on LAN. Now these two teams were going back and forth, and Beans almost made an incredible play.
Fights go their way. So now Beans left in a 1v4. Gets picked off.
Where are we going?
Or 04 at least, you know, it's a 1v4. It's not really his fault if they lose this round.
What? Oh!
Company movement is so crazy. Just look at how 04 challenged him right here. If Beans would have got this clutch, it would have been probably one of the best 1v4s I've ever seen. Despite this, Surge was able to bring the game back, and Hixie was having a really solid S&D to bounce back from that first map. He got off to a 6 spree in the middle of the game and helped Surge to win 3 rounds in a row. Surge had the chance to close out the game.
And they find the timing to hit. Do they have any nades left? Try to open up the site. Inside finds the first. Wait, Joe finds the second just in the blink of an eye, and now they know where 04 is. He's the last one standing. He's got to focus on so much at the same time, and he gets caught top hallway. Joe finds the
Ultra
kill.
ultimately breaking their setup to take this map off of them. CleanX getting a 2-piece to call
They hit
game.
this from the front side of the play. Just down to can they find the next piece of contact, because Ultra are just staying covered. Time is ticking. First shot's good from CleanX. Activated now with Beans around the back. Doesn't need to come through. Ultra cleans things up to the blink of an
Hixie
eye.
had a really solid map going 11-6. 04 being a playmaker for Surge, but it wasn't enough, and this S&D could have gone either way. But Toronto Ultra clutch up and use that momentum to go into the protocol control, where on paper these teams are pretty even, and Abuza has been really solid in control this month, having a 1.19. Ultra take the early 1-0 lead with Beans and Joe doing damage, and they take the first attacking round win. The game was going back and forth, but it's hard to get anything going, especially when CleanX is shooting like this.
Work your way slowly out of spawn. Try to catch these players who are working on these deep pinches. And at the same time, you have Joe He's roaming through top grandmas. He opens up with the kill. Now everyone from Vancouver has to turn around.
Clean shots from
Oh,
CleanX.
my.
Oh!
Surge were able to take the round 3 though, but they couldn't hold on any longer, and with their backs against the wall, they lose the round 4. And in the first 2 series, it's 2 quick 3-0s to start the day, but trust me, the rest of the day was not like that. CleanX and Joe had a great series together, CleanX having a 1.41 and Joe having a 1.27. They were able to push the pace for Ultra and dominate Surge in their first match on LAN. By the end of the series, everyone on Surge was in the red. CleanX and Joe are a really fun SMG duo, work really well together. Insight gotta pick it up in my opinion if they want to upset any of the top 3. CleanX deserves to be higher on the rankings in terms of best player in the game. He has been very good since the start of the season. And Bean said GG's to my boys. 1-3-0 to start the event. Now gotta keep that momentum rolling. Teammates are pretty good at the toy. FaZe on Saturday. So Ultra go on to play FaZe, which will be a crazy match. And Surge match up against Rokkr in the losers bracket. I feel like that one's probably going to go to a game 5 as well, but we'll have to see how things play out.
I love the city. It's great fans. You know, it's been awesome.
Obviously, just see them. Look at the crowd. They love you.
Yeah, they're great. You know, we have obviously the Koi fans, all the different teams. We have Gentlemates up there. Those guys are insane as well. Shout out those guys. Like I said, playing in front of the crowd is just insane.
And in the third series of the day, we had LA Thieves versus Carolina Royal Ravens, another winners bracket matchup. And these two teams have been really solid in their online splits. Carolina going 6-1 and LA Thieves going 5-2. And going into this first Hacienda hardpoint, the records are pretty even on paper. And Scrap has been notoriously bad on this map, going 6-19 in an online match versus OpTic. But there isn't really much to say about this game because the Ravens just came out flat and got smoked. And Scrap turned it around, setting a single map hardpoint record with a 2.56 KD, going 23-9. And on top of that, he had 123 seconds in the hill. He was absolutely frying this game, and they just put Carolina in the blender. Not even a 100-point club. It was a 50-point club in a little less than 7 minutes. Ghosty falling asleep after this first map.
You got to contest the final seconds. You're there for it. Quinn finds a couple in the feed, but he's done down. 7. The Thieves were slaughtered.
Carolina wasn't going to go down that easy, and in the red card search and destroy, they actually have a pretty decent record on here, going 9-6, but everything is different on LAN. There was a map reset early, but then it went back and forth. LA Thieves making a sneaky play in round 5 to advance the bomb to B.
Overwhelming force, or maybe.
A cheeky little belly crawl, trying to mess with the timings, just a touch.
This is good. This is so sneaky. You're not going to see this until it's too late. They've seen Envoy, but they cannot account for the second man.
The timings perfectly as well. Not giving the intel, easy.
So hard now to find trades for the Ravens. It has to be 1v1 fights. Gwyn not in the right spot with the right weapon. Will Vivid be able to pinch from the outside? A perfect nade there from Scrap and a perfect win from Envoy. Thieves take the lead.
And this game was going back and forth. Carolina was playing some pretty solid S&D, and they managed to tie the game at 4-4 in a closely contested game, eventually taking the lead 5-4. And then in round 10, Ravens got the offensive round and were able to push up the bomb to B, forcing LA Thieves into a 1v2. Ghosty had the chance to make a miracle play, but ultimately Ravens shut them down.
No exchange of gunfire just yet. Vivid with the tags. 20 seconds.
Slasher's done it though. He basically just gifted them this round. Yossi's gonna have to shred them, and just no hope with the
And
angles.
at least this game wasn't a 3-0. Carolina had taken the second map. Slasher and Vivid being the playmakers, or Ravens getting 3 first bloods each. And this game could have gone either way, but Ravens take it. And in the Hacienda control, it was nothing but offensive round wins. I wonder if this is a record too. I feel like it's very rare to see teams win offensive rounds every single time, but Carolina and LAT continued to trade them, and they were going back and forth in this control. Scrap having another great performance on Hacienda, going 32-22 with 28 non-traded kills. He even had 15 tiers captured, and he led his team in nearly every stat category. Slasher had a really slow start to this game, but they continued to battle with LA Thieves. But going into this final round, LAT got the offensive round win and take the 2-1 series lead against Carolina. And in the fourth map, the Skyline Hardpoint, I honestly thought this game was going to be a lot closer than it was. LA Thieves have a 1-2 Skyline Hardpoint record, and Carolina has a 3-5. The numbers did not matter though, because LA Thieves set a record in this first set of rotations, starting the map 148-0. Yeah, you heard that right, 148-0.
Start load of the map, indeed. Envoy on a 10 spree, 13-2. This is a historic performance from the LA Thieves. Slasher through the top. Damaged in, dealt with. Perfect map awareness right now. What shots from Dylan Hannon.
The most vile comms we have ever had in Call of Duty. LA Thieves finally give up the point.
They've done it! And now the time ticks for the Ravens!
Vivid was 9-25 going into this final hill, and there was just no hope for Carolina in these hard points. I'm not sure if this says more about LA Thieves or Carolina, because Ravens were really good online, but they just completely crumbled on land. It also didn't help that Vivid looked like he was dealing with something with his eye. I think they said it was like a staph infection or something like that, which is just really unfortunate going into the first lane of the season, but I really hope he's okay. By the end of the series, everyone in LAT was in the green, and it was the complete opposite for Carolina. I mean, in this fourth map, Envoy dropped a gunship, saying, "Should have called him my gunship, GG's Carolina, back on land." I'm not going to say anything about Vivid because obviously he's playing with some type of eye issue. Hope he is okay. It is actually insane how much their hardpoint has regressed since the first split. Legit don't have a single hardpoint map we're good at. I don't know why, but I'm blaming Slasher.
And also, we have all these French people around that is cheating for you. We'd like to say something to all the people who's following you around and home, and also for the people cheating for you.
I can't even hear you. What did you say?
In the final series of day one, we had OpTic Texas versus Miami Heretics. OpTic being one of the best hardpoint teams in the league, ranking first in every category, but Miami had a surprise for them because they brought out OpTic's kryptonite, Vickle. And it seemed to pay off for Miami in this series because despite the numbers looking great for OpTic Texas, Miami was ready to put up a fight. In the Vault hardpoint, Miami started the map strong, and then the map reset, of course. What's a day of competitive COD without a map reset? As unfortunate as it is, the game restarted, and the game was fairly close, but Real was absolutely frying OpTic, starting the game 14-6, and this play from Shotzi just highlights their struggles.
Finish one is who gets two, but still, the hard point retention, it's there for our Heretics. Looking to eclipse the 100-point mark and build up this lead. Shotzi.
Opposite AR started heating up, and they managed to take a 30-point lead by the middle of the game, but Real was just moving different this map with 30 non-traded kills and almost 5k damage. Hook was trying to give OpTic a fighting chance, but it wasn't enough, and Miami called game in the last 3 hills, chaining them together to get the win 250-193. And in the red card search and destroy, Miami Heretics is at a disadvantage, being 5-9 on the season, OpTic being 9-6. Shotzi has been really solid in S&D with a 1.17 KD, having 7 rounds where he gets 3+ kills, and OpTic came out really strong. Shotzi shooting bodies early.
They are. The wallbang's coming through. Hit the 13 HP. There's a plant my way. Shotzi through the kitchen and out. Oh my God, just one more bullet and he's dead. Shotzzy continues to toy with him though. He's able to stay alive. Nade backing him up. 20 seconds now to go. Rokkr has got to hunt for this, but as Shotzzy just bought enough time. He's done enough at this point. It'd have to be perfect. Shotzzy gets the movement, stays alive, firing, toying with the boot still, and he'll clutch up now the 1 versus 1.
Despite OpTic keeping the lead the whole game, Real was feeling some type of way about it and let Shotzzy know how he really felt.
You've got so much to do and so little time to do it. Shotzy's able to pounce.
He's here.
1v1 again. Just trying to get across the movement. Spots him, chows him. Is there time? Not going to be able to get there. OpTic Texas doing up, and well, that's the advantage to getting the quick plant.
And OpTic pulled away to dominate the S&D, winning 6-1. Rokkr and Lucky being on the opposite side of that, going 2-7 and 3-6. And OpTic shut them down in the S&D and would continue to carry that momentum into the Hacienda control. Hook has been pretty incredible in control this season with a 1.24, but OpTic is on a 2L streak and Miami is on a 4L streak. Despite the records being pretty even on paper, OpTic dismantled Heretics in every round on this one, and Hook continued to keep up his play into control, pushing the pace for OpTic and helping them to win this map decisively. Dashy even went on a 6 spree of his own in the final
advantage
round.
There. Heretics low in lives. No success so far for them on this map. It looks like they're going to be out to, what, 0-4 start on this particular combination. Dashy is shooting straight.
OpTic winning in a quick 3-0 fashion in just under 10 minutes. Hook going 25-15, Dashy going 27-13. Metals was having a pretty good series and he was even on the scoreboard, but it wasn't enough, and they had their backs against the wall going into the Skyline hardpoint. Now OpTic started this game off strong and managed to take an early 40-point lead, but Heretics really settled into this game and used the crowd as momentum to fuel a solid comeback. And somebody actually pointed this out in the YouTube comments. They said there was one point in the map where Kenny was 18-10, but in the span of 3 minutes he dropped to 18-26, and OpTic completely crumbled in this map, allowing Miami to take over this game and build a nice lead. But we got a chance to listen to OpTic's comms.
I think it's more. He's still a bit. He's still a bit. Right, really go get you. Really, he's fine. Can I get the guy? They're short. They're short? Yeah, top short. Weak, top short, Rokkr. It's fine, top short. No, on the right! Absolutely on the right, Real!
Yeah, I think I still top short. He's on top, he's now. Watch out,
And as Kenny continued to struggle, Rokkr went on a 6 spree to push the lead forward, and it looked like Miami was about to close out this map, but then OpTic made an incredible comeback, especially on this last kitchen hill, tying the game at 247, but then Miami just kept flooding the hill and was able to close it out in one of the closest hardpoint finishes we've seen all season.
Can you get it to a map?
Just gotta hit a stun, right? That's really it.
Can they connect on something? The green wall not giving it up. Hoop trying to take out 2. He somehow stayed up. Now just need to pull the win for OpTic somehow. Are they going to do this from the depths? OpTic are up. They're looking to take the map. They're looking to close the series. He may be enough. The tick not there. Oh, it is. I thought he contested, but
and in this Hacienda search, Metals had an amazing start to this game with an ace in the first round, and the rest of the game was really sloppy from OpTic. Dashy was really the only player going positive for them and was trying to wait for his other teammates to get going, but they just never did. I feel like it was a turning point in round 3 when Miami won this retake with the bomb down.
He starts to sprint. Kenny slides in, headshot is true. 3 versus 3 now. Real though on the hunt. A little bit of damage in, goes vertical, can't get it done. Caught going over the fence, or so I thought. He holds the pre-aim, he wins the fight. I thought Real was going to chow another, but it's all down to Kenny now.
It's not plenty for him. He's going to have to wide peek this. Able to win it. Oh no, Rokkr wins it. And well, you can see where it's
playing. Just completely fumbled this round, and then Miami just used their momentum to win the next couple rounds. It came down to a 2v2, and this happened.
2 versus 2 now, but time is dwindling. 20 seconds to go. Rokkr is able to pick up Shotzzy. It's all going to be on Dashy. Not this time. No 1v2 through. Heretics light it up.
So I guess bringing out Vickle really did work, and they were able to take out OpTic in an upset that no one saw coming. Metals finishing this game 10-6. Dashy was 10-6 for OpTic, but everyone else on OpTic had 4 or less kills, and you just can't win an S&D like that. By the end of the series, Real was the only player positive for Miami, but they were able to play this last S&D better, keep their composure, and knock OpTic to the losers bracket bracket where they will be playing LAG mates next, and the crowd was letting them hear it. And he said, started so hot map 4 and scam. GG's Miami lost 3-2. Gotta watch back our hard points. Losers run it is. Losing 2 hard points to a non-top 4 team is just inexcusable, especially Vault. But what were they doing? They just didn't play as a team on those 2 maps today. That map 5 was pathetic from OpTic. It was over the moment Vickle showed up. Heretics dug out the kryptonite. By the end of day 1, Scrap was at the top of the KD leaderboard with a 1.54, and the guys on FaZe were all shooting today. The first 3 matches weren't even that close, and I thought we were going to see some more game 5s on day 1, but that final series was extremely competitive, and the crowd was loving it. Day 1 was all winners bracket matches, but day 2 is going to be all these loser bracket matches, so if you lose, you go home, and it's set to be a good one. So we'll see if OpTic can make that losers bracket run, but LA Thieves and FaZe are looking really strong to start the tournament, and we'll see if Miami can continue that momentum forward. All right, we've made it to day 2, and in the second day in Madrid, we got 5 matches. The only difference between day 2 and day 1 is that if you lose this match, you gotta go home. And the first series of the day is Carolina versus Vegas Falcons. Vegas have really struggled this season, and most of their matches haven't been competitive, but they had a chance to turn it around today because it was a whole different pace on LAN. Unfortunately, that was not the case. They have not won a hard point this season yet, and Carolina needed this bounce back because they got smoked in their 2 hard points against LAT. And to start the game, TJ Halley was frying.
Towards the front. He's got Rokkr to work with, but 2 Ravens just kind of sitting prone in opposite corners, not able to be tracked down. Spawn will start to move, and TJ beams King from across the map.
Vegas Falcons kept it close through the first set of rotations, but once we got to like the middle of the game, the Ravens flew away with the rest of it. And even playing with one eye, Vivid was cooking in this first game, getting 30 kills, and on top of that, he had over a minute in the hill. This was a good confidence booster for Carolina after coming off of that L. On the side of Vegas, Xnid and King were putting in work, but Doom was getting cooked, and Carolina come out with the dub. And in the second game on the Vault Search and Destroy, I was actually really surprised because Vegas Falcons came out with a 5-1 lead. They were looking really strong in these first 6 rounds, and I thought they were going to take this game, but it seems like they get a little nervous when closing out the map. But then again, it is their first experience on a big stage like this. It all started with TJ's 3-piece.
Isolated, but it's a 2v2 in towards the site.
Yeah, TJ still holding in the corner. How many can he grab? First one's good. Oh, he's still a couple attacks onto the second. TJ, huge play, a little man. Oh! It's not once, but twice.
And then Carolina won a 2v4.
He has moments like this. The timing might be good enough. Leads to a freebie for the first kill. What else can he get done?
Oh, Vivid, 1v1 on the other side. Oh, huge shots from Vivid. The slow start from him, but that's a massive double to keep Carolina, not just in this round, but potentially in the map. They're going to get the plant, and Rokkr will have to navigate a 1v2.
45 seconds to work with. So the last time one of your teammates went on a 1v2, they were double stacking in towards the site. So already 10 seconds wiped off the game clock. Not able to gain the info. Is able to spot TJ, though.
Yep, there's the slide to confirm. Does he get a read onto Vivid? Just double stacked on him. Yep, now he knows both are in, but just tries to dive into the backside of the site. Not going to be allowed to. Carolina starting to put it together.
And at this point, they had all the momentum to mount a comeback. Gwyn and TJ both having double digits, and Vivid opening the map up for them with 3 first bloods. Rokkr and King had themselves a good map, but they ultimately crumbled and threw away the 1-5 lead. However, they fall 0-2 to Carolina, and the same thing would happen in the control. Like the S&D, Falcons came out hot in the 3rd game, and King was putting in
Second
work.
test here for Carolina. Rokkr and King working together. Little 2v3 moment at the top of the A zone. And shots from King. One more to grab. Slasher dives on in for the contest, but to whom will shut him down. And now you can quickly transition to B. Here's an opportunity for Vegas to fly.
Yeah, the cars are already blown up, so you don't have to worry about anyone getting taken care of on that aspect. You have pitches being set up. King again flies on in for the double. First segment already in. Carolina, you gotta stop him.
He's behind the play. Carolina
They
will
actually go up 2-1, but once again, they got into these clutch situations, and they threw away a defense. Carolina now tying the game at 2-2. It was actually a really close final round with Gwyn and TJ doing the damage. King had himself a 40 kill game, but it seems like they always have 1 to 2 players doing well, and then the other 2 are just getting smoked. In this case, it was Doom and Rokkr who couldn't get anything going, and Carolina take down Vegas Falcons in a quick 3-0 fashion. And looking at the final scoreboard, Doom had himself a really tough game, but it was good to see Gwyn and TJ Halley bounce back. Now this is a series they should win every single time. They were able to eliminate the Vegas Falcons in the first series of the day. That SND and control was criminal. How are they expected to win a game, let alone a map with these mistakes? They get nervous at the end of the maps, and it shows. Up 5-1 in the SND, have 2 defenses on control, threw away both in horrible fashion. You hate to see it. Clayster taking a more optimistic approach, saying good try out of the boys, good experience for us, just got to keep at it. This is Clayster's first time in a coaching position, and he has a lot of work to do with Vegas Falcons. They keep on going through these team changes as well, so it makes things a little bit harder for them, but we'll see if they can turn it around in the Major 2 qualifiers. In the second series of the day, we had Minnesota Rokkr versus Vancouver Surge, and I was already planning for this one to go the distance. Both teams have been slow out the gate to start the season, and in these map ones, they both have a losing record, but overall in hardpoint, Rocker's 7-13, and Vancouver Surge is 6-10. Going into this Hacienda hardpoint, Nasty got onto a quick force
As everyone vies for position here in early control.
Yeah, now Nasty just controlling top halls. Nice shots there. And yeah, I mean, it's sort of from like 04, Abuza. It's just the other pieces that are going to step up. Same with Rokkr. You know, Nasty, if he could be this guy, they're going to be a tough team to beat. And then on the Minnesota side, you look at somebody like Paul. He can struggle in respawns. They rely on him in search and destroy.
In Surge, we're dropping streaks left and right. They actually got 3 cruise missiles in this game, but Rokkr took an early lead. As Surge started to settle in the game, they started mounting a comeback. The one big thing that I noticed was that there was a lot of low engagements from Hixie, which was really holding the team back in this series. By the final set of rotations, Vancouver was able to pull away. Alex and Estriel had a really slow start to this series, going 14-23 and 13-22. Estriel was soaking the hill time, but 04 and Abuza were doing the damage, hitting about 3K each. And Vancouver pull away with this first game on the Hacienda hardpoint. And then in the red card search and destroy, these two teams are pretty solid teams in S&D, and it seems like they always go the distance against each other. Hixie had a great performance yesterday in the S&D, going 11-6, so he was trying to keep up that performance in this game. Unfortunately, that was not the case. The game was really going back and forth, and then Rokkr tied it in round 4. Rokkr took and held the lead after this, with Gio making some big plays for them.
Keep going back to it if you're Surge. I mean, you're hoping 04 finds some info with that stun. That's what he's thinking, right? You kind of know this
By
setup.
being down 5-2, Vancouver was able to stay alive and push it to another round.
Over. So up numbers here, you should. You know, now you definitely do after 04 gets him. I was going to say, Gio's out of the play.
Yeah, I mean, 04 just, he recognizes one player crosses, doesn't want the plant to go down, and then
now he's got to. Oh, nice gunfight win. His drop shot can be sick. Close to medium range. With this weapon can be disgusting, but just no time. He's got to move.
But they couldn't keep that momentum going, and ultimately were shut down. Nero having 3 first bloods this game, making plays for the team and opening up the map, along with 7 non-traded kills. Hixie was unable to keep up that performance, and it was a slow performance from Vancouver in the map too. And Surge were able to take the first offensive round win, with 04 and Nasty really pushing the pace for them. In the second round, Hixie won an insane 1v1 after almost nading himself.
Somehow he's in between 2. He shoots, finds one, almost lines up the second. Now Hixie gonna help him out in a 2 versus 4 round. It comes down to a 1 versus 1. Hixie with the Jackal. Oh no! Oh no, he's gonna avoid that. Gio's gonna reposition. Where is he? You have the heady, you win the gunfight.
That would have been really embarrassing. They go up 2-0, and with their backs against the wall, Rokkr were able to keep their composure and clutch up a round 3 on defense, then get enough ticks on offense to get defense again in the final round. And for Surge, they were getting smacked around by Nero, found himself on a 10 spree in the best time possible. Rokkr just caught that momentum. I mean, Rokkr spawn trapped them in the last round and take the map 3. Finally, in the Skyline hardpoint, Rokkr has not won a Skyline hardpoint this season. Despite this, Rokkr had all the momentum from the previous map, and Gio had an absolute masterclass, dropping almost 40 kills in this one.
You just know how scrappy a map like this could be, how slay heavy it could be. You gotta begin to heat up here if you are Surge. You have eyes in your back of your head as you deal with players like Nero, even though it seems like you've really had an advantage in the slaying department over stretches. I mean, you're about 14-6 for Gio, 15-6, 11-7 for Nero. Like, you've had some
Once
really
again,
great...
Hixie did not have many engagements for Surge, going 19-28 in this one with less than 3k damage, and he was just unable to keep up with the slaying power of Nero and Gio. Going into the second set of rotations, Rokkr completely took over and Surge fell flat, ultimately taking this map 4, eliminating Vancouver Surge from Major 1 in Madrid. Now looking at the final scoreboard, Gio and Nero really put on for Minnesota Rokkr. Goodbye Hixie, sadly this team is unsalvageable. A 2-person change is needed. did. 04 had 45 more engagements than Hixie. If Hixie can't win a gunfight, he could at least apply some more pressure for his teammates. Geo went crazy. My Geo stocks are paying off big time. And Geo said, GG Seattle, gotta keep this momentum going into tomorrow. They will go on to play the winner of Cloud9 versus Boston Breach. But today they had a really good showing. In the third series of the day, this one was the most electric out of all the ones we've seen so far, because we had the green wall versus the Spanish crowd, OpTic versus LAG mates. Seeing things like this makes it really cool to be a COD fan, because you really see the community coming together and seeing how much support is behind this esport. The crowd was going crazy and fueled LAG mates to come out with a strong start in the protocol hardpoint. Now, they had a really slow start to the season, losing their first 4 games, even losing to OpTic in a map 5 on December 14th. But in this first game, they looked completely different. Kismet came out frying with the 5 spree in the first hill.
Guys doing a great job just keeping Kismet alive. Really good start. Kismet then has the freedom to pop up, find his elimination around the hardpoint, flipping the spawn. Around now is Kismet. Straight shoot. 3 in a row already to get things going for LAG. Still holding down the sidewalk, and it's getting this crowd fired up as the Gorillas made her off really cleanly, 30-0. That's already 3 dead. Make it all 4. Kismet.
And the crowd was getting loud. They had so much momentum in this game, and OpTic's hardpoint struggles continue. Kismet had a huge game, doing a little bit of everything for them, dropping a 1.68 KD with 103 seconds on hill and almost 4k damage. They beat OpTic by 140 points, and Kismet had to let him do it.
32 and 19, the full wipe. That will be the game. Just get into P2. Get the final second. 250 to 110. Are you kidding? Woo. And you got the Bulldog already out his chair.
OpTic wanted to win this series. This next map was going to be huge, and in the Skyline Search and Destroy, they had to ice up. LAG mates are 4-7 this year in S&D, and OpTic is 10-7. And Dashy and Hook have the clutch factor for OpTic when it comes to S&D. Dashy was 6 clutches this year, and this series was about as close as it gets. It was really going back and forth. OpTic winning the first round, LAG winning the second, and then OpTic won 3 in a row, and then Kismet did this.
Want to try to get an elimination first. It looks like they're trying to force the battle over towards patio side. Priest right there to meet it. Pistol up, not going to be able to find Shotzi. Kismet trying to track down the trade, will find Shotzi, leaving it down to 1. Nowhere to go. Kismet all over it.
They would continue to go back and forth into these final few rounds, and it came down to a 1v1 with Shotzi and Skies, and then this happened.
20 seconds. Shotzi up top. Ah, he's going to get caught on sprint. Shotzi just holds his ground.
Shotzi had himself a double-digit performance, and they had 7 first bloods to LAG's 4, and they go to the Hacienda control. Now, both teams are statistically good in this game mode, but OpTic came out yesterday frying, getting a 3-0 win, and this series would be no different. OpTic came out and won their first defensive round, and then iced up in the next offense. Kenny and Hook cooking in their control. Hook would go on to finish this map 16-8 with a 2 KD, and Kenny was doing the damage, going 26-19, using his AR to open up the map for OpTic. Linz was on the opposite side of that. He was doing really well on the OBJ, but couldn't get anything going against OpTic. And they have another dominant control finish. And going into the Skyline hardpoint, we really got to see how much OpTic have been struggling. During the online qualifiers, they were 13-5, but in Major 1, they're 0-3. And in this map, Linz did a little bit of everything for LAG, and the crowd was behind them, fueling them to take an early lead. OpTic started to mount a small comeback in the second set of rotations, but the lead was ultimately too big for them to catch up. Hook and Shotzi doing everything that they could to keep OpTic's head above water, but it's hard to do that when Linz goes 37-28 with over 2 minutes on the hill. Kismet was also frying alongside of him, and Skyline is always a bang out map.
You gotta get on and contest something. Linz shuts it down from the front. Now it's just down to what happens over the middle of the map. Shotzi has to touch this, I believe. Do they get the final tick? No, they do not. OpTic are gonna get a lifeline at P4.
They can't win it here at P4, but it has to be perfect from this point on. Priestley starts off with the first kill, already going to put himself over towards backside combo, and the Gorillas are able to
LAG mates taking map 4 off of OpTic, and this going to a game 5, the crowd going back and forth, and it was really a sight to see. I'm sure being there in person was even crazier. And in this search and destroy, LAG mates came out hot. Linz getting a massive clutch in round 2.
Oui, c'est bien revenge. 22 secondes. Ah, Linz. Il y a bien quelqu'un qui peut le faire, c'est bien lui.
But then Hook would go on to get this big 2-piece in round 3.
Oh,
Hook's able to win that gunfight. The comms come in, so Skies was ready for it. But now Hook with a stun.
To cut their lead to just one. Shotzzy and Hook would show their clutch factor, getting this incredible hold on the A bomb site.
Can he finesse with his life? Yes, he does.
What an exit from Kenny. He's still being hunted. He will be taken care of, but he kills off so much time. 30 seconds on the clock. Good win from Skies. Gets down the pinch from Dashy. Now it's just down to breaking down the site itself. Now it's time for the SMGs to get active, but Hook and Shotzzy shut down the play. Oh, how about the hold from the interior for us?
And after this, OpTic completely took over, winning every single round after this. And despite losing both of the hard points, they were able to Neslo their way out of this series, winning this final map 6-2. And looking at the final scoreboard, OpTic was getting outslayed by LAG mates, who really showed major improvements. And honestly, if they didn't play OpTic in the first round, they would probably make a solid losers bracket run. But OpTic barely scraped by with the win, and will now go on to play Carolina Royal Ravens. Hook winning that gunfight on 13 HP literally flipped the momentum. LAG couldn't win after that. Sky's team kill and Lins killed their momentum. With the exception of Major 4, OpTic have eliminated Skies and Kiz every single tournament since Major 2 last year. And just like that, we've made it to the final 2 matches of the day. First one being Cloud9 versus Boston Breach. Going into the first map on the protocol hardpoint, Boston Breach is trying to bounce back from losing to FaZe 3-0 in the first day. Mac being a difference maker for Cloud9. And this game was going back and forth all the way until the finish. Cloud9 kept the lead for most of the time, but then Boston took over on the second set of rotations, and then Carolina started mounting a comeback. It seemed like Snoopy and Sib were trading multi-kills in these final few hills, and Snoopy was everything for Boston on this map, going 32 and 25 with a 1.28 KD. Mac and Kremp soaking up the hill time, and it was a photo finish on the final hill.
To disrupt the setup. Now 13 for the victory is Cloud9 New York. Boston Breach starting to sweat. Joe saying, oh boys, he's feeling it with another multi from Snoopy. The slide simply too strong. There's the break in. One does spawn in the back. Oh no. Maybe a chance to do it. A double from Kremp might do it, but it won't happen. Boston Breach get just enough.
Boston able to clutch up this map, winning by 6 points, trying to carry that momentum into the search and destroy. Kremp opened the game with an incredible 2-piece to set the tone.
Or last year on that NYSL team.
It was either or. You weren't really sure what it was going to be. Is he going to come out and hit it and drop 50, or is he going to rotate 30 seconds early? We weren't really sure. Well, but Kremp, okay, well, he demolishes that round. We're talking about maybe some of the issues with Cloud9 and Hardpoint, or just overall, and that round is done real fast. Well, yeah, 3 from Kremp just pops a triple around the site, little slide back and forth, little bunny hop on the challenge, beautiful there.
But Sib had a masterclass in map 2 with double digits. He was really struggling online, but this is the perfect opportunity for him to bounce back. Cloud9 was doing really well playing together, and they were going to win by any means, even if it meant laying down next to each other to secure the round win. Cloud9 would get a defense in the round 9, and this happened.
Use the bomb site best you can, but Snoopy can't stay up. Sib tacks on another. They've got numbers, the numbers increase. Another multi from Sib, he's up to 5 in a row. Last player will drop at Cloud9. After letting things slip away a little bit in the mid-round, they're able to pick it back up. A lot of different defensive hits they were looking at.
Sib finishing the game going 10-4, Kremp going 8-5. And even though Boston had more first bloods, Cloud9 was able to play the objective better and tie the series at 1-1. Going into the protocol control, both of these teams are pretty bad at control, but one of them has to win. And Sib continued playing well, getting this nice 6 spree in the first round, setting the tone early once again. Cloud9 won the first offensive round, and the Breach SMGs could not get going this game. Sib and Mac were doing the damage for Cloud9 and leading the charge, and it ended up being a lopsided finish as they won this protocol control 3-0. Once again, Sib had a great game going 29-18 with 20 non-traded kills. Kremp doing a really good job playing the objective. Mac with 20 offensive kills. Urge and Snoopy were on the opposite side of that and could not get anything going this game. Going into the Skyline hardpoint, it was a really strong start for Boston, but then of course the map reset. But just like the first map, they were battling back and forth all the way until the final set of rotations, where Boston started to pull away. And the reason they were able to do this is because Awakening had his best game of the entire year. He finished this game going 37-28 with over 4k damage and 144 seconds on the hit.
If you're Boston Breach, but you can make this so difficult in P3. At least in the first playthrough and the first one, that's where you've been so strong if you're Boston Breach.
He's trying to do everything right now.
The hard point as well, 10 points, make it 9 points for the victory. One break here, and you may seal the deal.
Oh,
push this to a map 5.
Yeah,
cannot be challenged.
Yeah, keep going.
Not able to
This
finish
was
it.
a game unlike anything I've seen from him all season, and he was the main reason why Boston won this game. Snoopy putting in work on the skyline as well, and they pushed this series to a much needed game 5. For map 5s this season, Cloud9 has not looked good at all because they have not won a single map 5. They're currently 0-4 and Boston is 4-2. They showed why LAN is so much different, and they locked in for this last map, winning the first round, Boston winning the next 2. But after this, it was a masterclass from Sib and Mac on this final S&D. Cammy being on the complete opposite side of it, only getting 1 kill this game, but just like in the second S&D, Cloud9 were able to pull away and win 6-3, eliminating Boston Breach from Major 1.
1-8 out of him. And Cammy to 1-9, just choke slammed to this one. All the pressure to Purge. He's gonna be working on the ace. Sees one get away, trying to snap back, trying to evade bullets. The chow won't happen. Sib on his feet. Cloud9 taking 5.
They had a really rough start on LAN playing against FaZe, and their troubles continued as Cloud9 clutched up. Attach also having a great game, and in the post-game interview, he was really happy that they won in that fashion, showing that they have the ice. Purge played really well online, but it was the complete opposite on LAN, and Boston have a lot of work to do going forward. Why does Boston keep playing protocol control? That's 3 games, and they haven't even won 1 round. They trolled the veto so bad. Man, this sucks. Feel bad for Cammy. He wasn't able to finish kills. Should have beat Cloud9, but whatever. They're a better LAN team for sure, and way better than their record suggests. Attach saying GG's Boston, 1-3-2, a dirty Neslo to start the tournament. And in the final series of the day, we had OpTic Texas versus Carolina Royal Ravens, a game that was bound to go the distance, and OpTic has been struggling in hardpoint, but we're looking to make a loser's bracket run, and this hardpoint couldn't be any closer. Hook had an amazing performance in game 1, and for some reason, Shotzzy was struggling on LAN. He played really well in the online split. This game came down to the final few hills, and Hook had a 3-piece on the second to last hill to save the game. And the crowd was hyped after this one. Hook finished in this game 36-25.
Can he get the second? Pressure now through the other side, through Spiral. The clock ticking. OpTic within 10 for the win. Over to Dashi. Holding them back. Shotzzy keeping them close. It's Big Bruce. It's Big Bruce and Shotzzy. What a win!
In the red card search and destroy, both of these teams are really solid on S&D. OpTic being 12-7 this season, Carolina 11-6. Now in a previous series, the S&D won OpTic the game, but TJ set the tone early, getting this nasty 2-piece.
Carolina will force you to work for it. There's Teach. This is the first and the immediate transition towards Shotzzy upstairs. A little bit of an awkward turn. He gets a bullet or 2 into the camera there.
It was an even battle on the first bloods, but Carolina made those mid-round adjustments, and it went the way of Carolina in this one. Shotzzy being the only player positive, TJ, Slasher, and Gwyn putting in the work for Carolina and securing the game 2 and going in to the control. Honestly, Carolina made this one look way too easy. They dominated the control, and in the first offensive round, they completely stopped
Topple
OpTic.
down the stairs and right into the zone. There's the capture. TJ, full pockets now on the approach towards top grannies. Slams himself a Dashi, and now you've got us halfway through A.
And Mainslayer T down the mix. That is 9 kills already in this round, and that is 4 down. Stack this point and watch it fly.
It was just amazing teamwork out of Carolina, and OpTic just looked disconnected this map. In the final round, OpTic lost a 2v4 on defense. Vivid having another great game, going 20-17 along with TJ. OpTic now had their back against the wall in the Hacienda hardpoint, and Gwyn started the game off with this insane kill
in the
streak.
lead. It's a small one, but they are ripping, and that's all
Eyes on
for
it. Can he find any more? No. Dashi will punch through the back with 30 seconds remaining here on P2. This is ample time.
And look at how easy that read is. Yep, ever so clean. Post up in a corner and right back to help his boys in time. Gwyn, great reads, great presence. Oh, making it look so easy.
Oh, man, the shots. Oh, Gwyn. 8 in a row. Can he find number 9? Contest. There
He
it
gave
is.
Carolina momentum for the rest of the map, and OpTic kept the game close. Kenny really struggling in this one, going 11-20 in the second set of rotations, and nobody on OpTic had any slaying power against Gwyn and TJ. I mean, Gwyn was going on sprees throughout the whole game. OpTic was just not able to handle Carolina's aggression, looking much different than they did online. Everyone on Carolina was in the green, and everyone on OpTic was in the red, and as you can see by the game flow, once it got to the middle of the game, Carolina just completely took over, and they were hyped after this one.
What a turnaround! What a tournament! Carolina survive! OpTic Texas,
People saying,
go home.
sorry OpTic fans, but this duo just don't work in a 4v4 LAN setting. We've seen it in MW2, we're gonna see it again. They play too similar. Unfortunately, Pred was Shotzi's best duo. Them as a duo on LAN just doesn't work, but this weekend was on Shotzi way more than Hook out of the two. Realistically, all three outside of Hook need to figure out what they're doing. New demon unlocked, one-eyed Vivid. TJ feeling like TJ right now. I'm just happy for Slasher, dude deserves it. And Vivid said, GG's Falcons and OpTic survived the first and last match and can see comfortably from my eye today. So it looks like Vivid's feeling better, so that's some good news, but bad news for OpTic. They're out of the tournament and we've reached the end of day 2 and things did not go how I expected it to. These were some unexpected, chaotic matches. We started with 12 teams, but now we're down to 7. They didn't do any of the KD leaders or anything after this tournament. In fact, the stream ended pretty abruptly after this game ended, so I'm not sure if they were getting kicked out the venue or what. But going into Saturday, we have a lot more matches and we start the day with Cloud9 and Rokkr, and I can't wait to see how the rest of the weekend plays out. I honestly thought OpTic was going to be in the grand finals, but now it's really up for grabs for any of the teams. I mean, LAT, FaZe, Ultra, Carolina look insane. The fact that they're going to battle it out tomorrow is going to be really fun to watch. Here's a look at the bracket heading into Saturday. And with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, peace.